Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now, how many of you out there have had a 7-hour green belt test? Well, I've got Abby with me today, and she's going to share her story of her 7-hour green belt test and basically how the whole experience of training in martial arts has given her things like perseverance, determination, respect, confidence, and responsibility, and how that's affected her life in general. So Abby, what I want you to do is explain what you had to do during your 7-hour test. What did you start out with?
I started out with a 4-mile run, which I really had to push myself on because I really struggle with running. I'm more of a swimmer, so that was probably the hardest part of the test for me. I did have my teammates around me to help me through that part. It got about halfway through and I already wanted to quit, but I knew if I had quit then I wouldn't have had to persevere through each level of the test and make myself feel good about being able to go through such hard times and still become better on the other side.
Okay, so after the run, you were pretty tired, right? You're pretty exhausted, and then you had to do the next part of the test. Go on and describe that for us.
Well, the next part of the test, we went back to the dojo and we started with doing our push-ups. And
how many push-ups did you do?
We had about 400 push-ups to do along with 400 sit-ups, but if someone did something wrong in one of the drills, 10 push-ups were added for each thing that went wrong. So I think at the end we did about 500 push-ups and about 400 sit-ups.
Wow. Okay, so after you did all those push-ups and sit-ups, then what did you do?
Well, within those push-ups and sit-ups, we had line drills, which was kind of the things that if we messed up, we got more push-ups. So we started with sets of 50 push-ups and 50 sit-ups, and in between each set, we would do more line drills, we would do sparring, we would do bag work, and at the end of the test, once we got to our last about 50 push-ups, we had a choice as a team to either do the last 50 push-ups and just do one more line drill, or do 25 push-ups and then do a line drill, 25 push-ups, and then another line drill. And collectively as a team, we decided just to do the 50 push-ups and get the line drill done, which led to the final step of the test, which was we all stood in a circle and there was actually a trash can put in the center of us, so if we puked, we could keep going. And our instructor would call out a move to do, and we had to do it consistently as fast as we could, as hard as we could for the 4 minutes, and the move would switch. So you'd have to be cognitively thinking about what the instructor was saying while also figuring out how to do it and not be so tired where it looked like you weren't doing it right.
Okay, so tell me more about throwing up. So throwing up, you threw up during the test?
Yes, I did. It was after we were doing side kicks actually, and I think it was because my body was so pumped up after the push-ups and the run. It was kind of near the beginning of the test that slowing down didn't give me enough time to really recuperate my body.
So you were completely exhausted and you just couldn't move, and you threw up as a part of being too exhausted to move forward, right?
Yes, and that was at the beginning, so it got much more difficult as I went on through the test.
Now you got the award for the
Puker Award.
Puker Award.
Yes, it
okay,
was very
so
fun.
We'll show it right on the screen. So once you won the Puker Award, then what did you have to do for the final part of your test?
Well, the final part of the test was all the instructors were put in a row and we had to spar each of them. So I was about 12 when I did that, and I remember thinking this is gonna really suck because I just gone through this whole test and they were upper black belts that I was about to spar with all my different padding on, and I was kind of nervous because I didn't want to mess up because they were my instructors. They were the ones who I really looked up to. So I made sure to work as hard as I could because I didn't want to let myself down or let my instructors down to think that I was any less than what I actually was.
Wow, awesome. Now, you have to understand, while this whole test is going on, they wouldn't let any of the parents in there to watch any of this, obviously, because can you imagine the moms watching their daughter? Oh my God, don't let them. So they're putting them to the test. I mean, totally exhausting them to the point at which they couldn't move anymore, and then they had to come up with more energy and more determination to push through this test. Is that pretty much what it was?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then at the end, all of my instructors lined up and they would pass the belt along, the new one. They would pass it along to check off that they believed that you did everything that you should have to be able to earn the next level. And this was a very stressful moment because, you know, you work so hard through this, and if one of the instructors doesn't pass it down, then you just lose kind of everything that you've done. But luckily I did get my belt, which was really nice. I felt very proud of myself for that. But I also really enjoyed how the teachers kind of made sure that we pushed ourselves through this, and it wasn't a kind of cheating out of it to get your belt, because there was no way to cheat out of it. You had to go through it. You had to show at the end of the test that you were exhausted. There was no way that they would give it to you if you weren't like on the ground.
Okay, the reason this test is so important is it demonstrates what you can learn from, you know, studying a martial art, especially up until black belt. So some of the things that you should learn is something like perseverance. Obviously, she had to persevere through this test. I mean, to get through a 7-hour test is pretty, I mean, it drains you emotionally. You're just exhausted. So to have that perseverance, determination, she didn't want to quit. She didn't want to give up. It teaches you not to quit, not to give up, no matter whether you're puking or what. You just keep on going. And also respect. You know, a lot of the, I'd watch the kids, you know, they would, if they came in the dojo and they didn't bow in, they'd have to do 10 push-ups. So they had to learn how to respect their teammates. And as a group, didn't you guys decide whether you were going to do more push-ups or line drills? So they were learning respect for each other as a group. And then confidence, you know, if you learning all of that stuff and pushing through that, you have the confidence to, you know, get through something like, you know, you at the age of 16, you bought your own car, correct? So you were able to save up the money. You had the determination. You wanted your own car, so you went out there. You worked the summer before that and half the next summer as a lifeguard, and you know you had the perseverance to get through that, to get your own car. And responsibility. I mean, gosh, we don't have to, you know, have her, you know, talk to her about grades or anything like that. She's self-motivated. We never have to say, are you doing your grades? And you're in what, the top 2% of your school, and there's like 650 in your graduating class. So, you know, she's motivated to keep going. So, you know, if you can pass a 7-hour test, then, you know, life skills are a lot easier. And, you know, probably dealing with the peer pressure at school and stuff like that. So you just keep going because you have the confidence from the experiences you learned in martial arts. So really, in my opinion, the martial art up through black belt is not really important, you know, as long as it's something you're interested in. But up through black belt, as long as you can get these skills, then you have not only the skills for life, you also have the skills to train something like a Koru art, something that's going to be more challenging and really put you through, you know, challenging times and, you know, hitting walls and pushing through those walls and not just becoming, you know, relaxed and, you know, happy with your skill level. You want to, you know, keep going and getting higher and higher skill levels. So in the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about, you know, what are the qualities of a good beginner teacher, you know, up through black belt. We're going to do that as one video. And then the next video will be, then if you want to take your skills farther, then study something like a Koru art or something that's, you know, more traditional, then, you know, what type of teacher is going to be good for studying those arts? That's going to be the third video. So if you're interested in, you know, learning more about this subject, just like and subscribe to the channel, and then you'll be notified as we come out with more videos.